Unity of Houston is an inclusive church where we seek to understand and live the teachings of Jesus and other spiritual masters. At Unity, we welcome all people from all spiritual paths and every walk of life. We celebrate the diversity of our city and of our world, and we teach love, tolerance, and oneness, seeking to live in harmony with open minds and open hearts.
Wherever you are in your spiritual path, you are always welcome at Unity. Join us and discover that the life of your dreams is already within you.
For us to get started, I'd like us to imagine something just for a second. Just imagine something. Imagine getting a call from someone close to you to tell you a family member is dying. In November 2011, that was what happened to me. I got that call from my mother. 5 frantic voice messages. Your father is dying. Hurry up and get here soon. When I heard that, I didn't want to believe it. It can't be true. My dad is the strongest man I know. This is not happening. And my faith was really strong in that, by the way, as well. So as I'm going, and I'm driving on the way to the hospital, still in disbelief, I said one prayer, one request of God. All I ask is that you make sure that my father walks out of that hospital. Nothing else. Seems pretty simple, right? Just make sure he walks out of this hospital. Because see, this was November 2011, so I had some things coming up, like that next year I was about to get married. I had some life-changing things going on. I had just published a book, and it came out that week, and I was on my way that weekend to go share a book with him and crack a cold one. You know how it goes. Man and his dad having a moment together, that's what I was looking forward to. However, when I pulled up to the hospital, everything I feared had become reality. Just before 5 a.m., my father took his last breath. And so all of the negative emotions came over me. Anger, resentment, hurt, and most of all, confusion. And so I'm sitting up there and I'm processing this. After I consoled my family, I went outside and I was just like, okay, so check this out. I asked you for one thing. Did you not hear me? Like, did you not get the message? Because I believe you told me that you would never leave nor forsake me. However, I'm feeling quite alone right now because you took my moral barometer and took them away from me. So what do you want me to do now? My family's in their hurt, and you've taken this from me. So mind you, at this point in time, I'm like drowning. I'm like swimming in my own tears by this time. And I remember that still small voice. You all know about the still small voice? Yeah, it's right there, angelic, very sweet. It said, my son, I have answered your request, and I've done everything you asked of me. Because you said that you wanted your father to walk out of this place. And he is. However, he's walking out of here as you. I have given your father everything he needed, therefore he is giving you everything you've needed. And between me and him, you have everything you need to live a successful life. So what I need you to do is I need you to go and believe that. Step out there. Because what you did not realize is that you were good from the start. And no matter what, you were more than enough. And that's where we get started. That's our foundation for this morning. This literally all came from that moment in time. So let's get into this. So, Unity Houston, how are we feeling tonight? All right. I like it amped up. As you can see, they always set reserved seats up here for me, and I don't use them, okay? I like to roam around. I like to get some energy going, and I feel a lot of energy here and a lot of love here tonight. So, interesting thing, I really have to thank you all, really thank you all, because I think right here, 2 years ago, I think it was May of 2017, I stood right here and we discussed the fact that you are the chosen one. Well, something happened with that, okay? So you are the chosen one. That video ended up making its way all the way overseas. Prominent businesswoman from Dubai saw that and she was inspired. Therefore, she said, you know what? I think I want to invest in this guy Who likes when somebody wants to invest in them? That's a good thing, isn't it? It is. So she said she wanted to invest in me. So she was the one who launched my first Start Within and Win tour, which started in Abu Dhabi and Dubai. That would have been in August of 2011. However, it was not done because that was the launch of my international speaking career, but that was not the end of it. By that November, during Thanksgiving, I was speaking at a conference in Africa and leading a seminar at that same time. So, Unity Houston, you were the catalyst for my international speaking opportunity. So thank you. However, that wasn't it. There's more. Wait for it. So, in addition to the international opportunities, because the video made it all the way across the world and met the right person at the right time, there also was somebody in the audience. Was that me? There was also someone in the audience who was inspired by my talk. And it just so happened to be the assistant youth and family minister who was at Unity Houston. And she came up to me after the talk and was like, I think you would be good to work with our teen ministry. I said, really? She said, yes. Would you mind putting together a series to teach the teens? Sure, why not? Put together a 3-part series. I think it started in September sometime, and I was like, it went really well. Like, it was growing each week. Started off with about 18, went to about 27. Next thing you know, it's up to 40 teens in the room. So it went well, and I was like, that's good. And then she said, would you mind hanging around as a volunteer? I said, sure, why not? Let's see how this works out. Started coming every other Sunday. Every 2 Sundays starting to 3 turned into 4. Well, fast forward till today, okay? In August of this year, it'll be 2 years that I've been working with the high school ministry here at Unity Houston. And I can tell you without question, honest to truth, that is literally one of the greatest decisions I've ever made in my life, without question. There may be a couple of them sprinkled in here in the audience, but just know that with that group, I love them dearly. They have my heart. And I am so excited at the leadership of what they're moving forward and doing with the experience. So thank you all, Unity Houston. Let's give it up for our teams right there, too. So you're probably sitting out there saying, what are we about to do now? Why are we here? Well, first, I need you to repeat after me. Say, I am more than enough. I am more than enough. I am more than enough. Get used to saying that a lot tonight. Because I want that into your psyche. I want it deep into your soul that you are more than enough. And so we're going to look at 3 things tonight. We're going to look at 3 different things. We're going to look at 3 ways to overcome the fear of your own reflection. Yeah, that sounds crazy, doesn't it? But how many of us know that it's not an outside force that's keeping you from doing what you do? It's not some systematic situation that's keeping you from doing what you do. It's not some government entity keeping from you doing what you want to do. It is not some nagging family member keeping you from doing what you want to do. It is the person in the mirror who is literally your worst enemy. However, could be your best friend. But sometimes we choose the other side. So for us to get started, I want us to look at the idea that, once again, we're talking about that mirror. Once again, we're looking at our own reflection. And the main thing is that you have to realize that your image is everything. Who you see in the mirror is going to dictate how you move in and out of the world. If you look in the mirror and seeing anything less than a child of God, anything less than a capable, beautiful human being, you have not lived up to the potential which is already within you. So image is everything. A wise man by the name of Maxwell Maltz said this: the opinion you have of yourself is the only one that matters. The opinion you have of yourself is the only one that matters. So you take that and, like you eat it like food, like you can digest it, like let it go through. And you think about it and you say, what do I think and know to be true about me? See, this is personal. This is personal. This is one of those things where, where the world is like, don't be selfish. Well, if you're not the full version of you, then who's going to show up in the world? And how can you do for others if you're given from a half-filled cup? Just saying. Because you realize when it's determined who is in the mirror, it determines how you show up in the world. And think about all 7 areas of life. And we're not going to hit all of those areas, but just think about it. If you don't have a healthy self-image of yourself, think about how you interact socially. You are the friend who never says no. You are the friend when it's not conducive for you to do what somebody's asking you to do, yet you do it anyway, usually at your own expense. You're the friend who gets ran over. You're the friend who, if you have boundaries, people have just bulldozed over them. I think some people call it being used, but not being used in a good way. And that's socially. And let's think about from a family standpoint. Whether it's mom, dad, or whomever. You are the one who feels like that your opinion is never valid in the family dynamic. You continually acquiesce to everybody else all the time. You never step up and say, you know what, this is how I feel, and this is what I'm feeling in this moment. And people say, well, I don't really think we need to hear that. And you just, okay. And you just take it because you don't think you're deserving enough, because your self-image is not where it needs to be. And let's talk about career and business. You're the person who shows up at the job and literally is just trying to get by. The path of least resistance, never pushing forward to do more, be more, and have more. You're the person who's scared to go in and ask the boss for a promotion, for a raise, because you don't think you deserve it. Because why? Because you woke up and looked in the mirror and decided, I'm not it. I'm not worthy. I'm not deserving. And lastly, look at it spiritually. And we know this person. Hopefully it's not you. The person who's always feeling like they need to make it up to God. You know that person. The person who's always thinking that God is punishing them for something. You're the victim of something. It's like, let's take a guy named Mike, and he's like, okay, thinking that there's some kind of like imaginary ledger in the sky that says, okay, and there's God up there, thinking that God is just some kind of tyrannical figure of some kind. And he's just like, oh, Mike, you kissed your wife goodbye, you hugged your kids, you said hi to the person when you walked to the door, but you know what? You did say something disrespectful to your boss. You did tell your coworker that they had some ugly shoes on. You did tell the copy clerk, you yelled at her. And then at lunch, you went to Subway and yelled at the guy for putting too much olives on your turkey roast. So now in your mind, because you don't think you are enough, you don't have a healthy self-image, you think that like now you're batting negative 2 with God. So what ends up happening is you walk around and you're always careful, and it's just like, oh, if I make one mistake, then now, God is going to punish me. And that's just not the case. So having a healthy self-image is going to be the foundation for everything you move forward. So once again, I am more than enough. And let's flip that up a little bit. I will lead you in. I'll say I am, and then you say, there we go. Let's get that going. Let's get that going. We're going to start that trend here tonight. So we're going to have a little participation. So I am. Boom, we're on it. We're on it. So we're moving on. We're moving on. So again, there's not a ledger in the sky. God does not dislike you. You're a child of God, and you will move forward in a healthy way once you know and believe that. So our next thing is to accept. Somebody say accept. You must accept yourself. Because I don't care how much you think that you're trying not to do something, every day you're going to make mistakes. It's part of it. You'll misspeak. You'll break a promise. You'll cut somebody off on the highway. Somebody cut me off on the highway on the way over here, by the way, but we're not going to bring that up. So, but there'll be mistakes made. And you must accept yourself as yourself. Because really and truly, can we just be honest? All those mistakes you've ever made in life, have they not led you to somewhere that's better? I mean, the wins are cool because, yeah, they're not as painful, right? You like winning, but it's the losses that help you grow. The losses is what builds your character. The losses is what builds up your self-image. It's a beautiful thing. So really and truly, when you talk about accepting yourself, taking good, bad, and different and all those things like that, one of the things I talk about is talking about labels. Labels. So we have a habit of saying that's good and that's bad, correct? But didn't we just establish that that bad, the so-say bad over there, is what brought us to a better, greater good over here? Are we correct? So what's up with the labels? If that is going to help us be better over here, then shouldn't we just drop the labels altogether? And absolutely. And so what you do is that you take what's seemingly a bad situation, like the situation when my father abruptly died the night after my 33rd birthday, and you ask, what's good here? What's good here? Now, mind you, when very, very traumatic things happen to you, asking what's good here, it will be an internal fight going on in here, like those little two people who are fighting, like those little cartoons, when they're battling each other. The bad one may win a couple rounds, but you know what? The other side will come out and last on the other side very well. But the bottom line is we have to see it holistically. And what it really comes down to when you talk about accepting yourself, what I'm really saying is that you need to forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. If you could have done better at the time when you did what you did, you would have. Has anybody had that moment though, where it's like you've been planning something for like the longest time and you have it all laid out? You know the people who have the sticky notes and they're just like step 1, step 2, step 3. Do we need step 4? Yes, we're going to go with step 4. So we make sure we're in line. This time we're going to be there. 6:15, boom, 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 boom. And then like you've been planning this for months and then like within 32 seconds, it's just like the whole thing then fell apart. Anybody ever felt like that before? Okay. Understandable. But we have to forgive ourselves for that. I remember I had a moment coming off of the whole situation from back in the day. I was making a road trip and I was speaking at a college out of town. And I was in a real interesting place. I had made a ton of mistakes. I'd made a bunch of bad decisions, but I still had convinced myself that everything was all good. Anybody ever done that before? Where it's just like, what if they fake it till you make it? But then the faking actually catches up with you and it actually turns out really, 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 bad. But then it turns out to be good. There we go. So I'm down there, and I was talking to a group of parents, and there were a couple of students as well. And we were talking about purpose, which purpose is a whole nother thing, which will help with your self-image as well, but that's a whole nother talk for another day. Check back with us in about 4 months, and we'll see how we work that out. So I was talking about purpose, and a dad came up to me, and he said, Mr. Vital, my son wants to speak with you. He wants to talk about what he learned from the talk. And whenever teens come up to me and say they got something out of something, I'm like, yes, bring them all, because their attention span is like, can I get any smaller than this? Anybody have any teens in the room? Yes, it's like that. So he came up to me and said, Mr. Vital, I love what you said. I love that you said you have to live on purpose with a purpose, and that you should strive every day to be better than you were the day before. I'm just like, wow, here's the mic. Just go swap out with me. I'll take a rest, and you can just go finish this off. And I said, that's a beautiful thing. And I think his name was Ben. I said, Ben, one thing that you want to remember is that as you're going towards this purpose, as you're going towards this goal, as you're going towards this dream, make sure that you bring those along who matter most to you. Don't do like I did and say, hey, I got this goal. It's huge. I'm trying to do it. All of you wait back here. I'll come back and get you once I've made it. I said, make sure you take everyone along for the ride, for the wins, the losses, the good, the bad, the adversity, the cries, everything. Bring them along for everything. Let them see the full journey. And his dad came up to me and was just like, thank you, Mr. Vital. I appreciate you sharing something with my son from your past. I said, thank you for bringing your son up to me. I said, however, sir, the past was 3 weeks ago. The past was 3 weeks ago. I had made some misguided choices. I had abandoned and neglected my family, in the terms of trying to make it. And here's what's interesting about it. While I'm pushing to make it, while I'm a national sports analyst, while I'm working for different magazines, while I'm pushing forward, I'm on television, I'm on radios, I'm on podcasts, I'm doing it. And then just like that, started chipping away. Laid off from one place, separation from my family in another place, dog dying in somewhere other place, 65% of your income is gone. And guess what? When you take a crash that big, who do you have to go back to? All the people back at the train station you neglected. Not fun. I had to accept the fact that I had neglected all of them. And I had to go face that music. And that's not fun, so I wouldn't suggest that from anybody. I want you to own up to what you do. However, that is a very painful thing to do. So once again, I want you to remember that I am. There we go. I am more than enough. Good. So we're moving on with this. So when you talk about accepting yourself and we talk about making mistakes, those will happen. I want to pose a question to everyone out there. What is something that will absolutely happen every day of your life, no matter what? A couple of examples. What's going to happen every day, no matter what? Breathing. You know what? Breathing is essential because it definitely beats the alternative. What's something that'll happen every day, no matter what? Wake up. Yes, that's another good thing. Life is better than the alternative as well. So, what is something that you for sure know will happen every day? Yes, Tommy. Huh? I'm making you sick? Oh, you'll make a mistake every day. Yes, you will. Yes. I thought you said you're making me sick. I'm like, oh, what'd I do? Thought we were cool. Thomas, I love you, my man. I love you, my man. And I'm sorry I misunderstood you. Yes, you will make a mistake every day. But this is what will happen every day, no matter what you try to do or not try to do. Change will happen. Can we agree that change will happen no matter what? Is there any way around change? So, just like the good and bad labels, if we know change is going to happen, why are we so caught off guard by the change? Instead, let's think about this. Why not initiate the change? Create our own changes. I like to call them mindful changes. Now changes, don't get me wrong, changes are in two different categories. You have what I call major changes and you have minor changes. The major changes are the ones where you make where it's going to affect other people. You know, new job, divorce, separation, moving, things of that nature. Those affect other people. But minor changes are things that I think that we should try to do every day. Like take a different route home from work. You may say, well, that's just simple. Why would I need to do that? Because it's a different mindset. You're trying to get out of that autopilot way of life because you don't realize how you do some things is how you do all things. You know, drink, working, go to the grocery store, pick a different grocery store. And I know that's hard for some of you because you love that grocery store. And now I'm not talking to the people who have, supplanted the grocery store shopping experience and do the online thing and just pull up and just pop your trunk. I'm talking about the people who actually still go into the store. There's still a few of us left. I understand that. Okay. But just go to a different store. Or if you like that store, just go to a different location. Just do anything to jog your mind. Or as one of my partners and mentors says, he drinks out of a different coffee mug every day. By the way, do we have any coffee drinkers in the room? Wow, I had a feeling that was going to happen. So, can I be honest about the coffee drinkers? Okay. I love you all first and foremost. But there's levels to the coffee drinking game. Like there's so much. You have I like coffee because of the taste. You have those people. Then you have the sort of what I call social coffee drinkers. They want to drink coffee so they can hang out with other coffee drinkers. And then you have but first coffee people. You know that person at the office. You come in the door like, hey, it's like, you come on back, okay, go have it. And that's the person who usually is tanked up. They have that big thermos, and it's just motor oil with 18 sugars in it. 2 creams, and they're just over there just like, running in their eye. Yes. And then, an hour later, they're cool. After they've drunk 3 of those, and I don't know how they're still alive after so many years. But anyway, that's beyond the point. But change, mindful changes need to happen. And also, when it comes to change, there's something else that needs to happen. You need to remove what no longer serves you. I know, I'm striking a nerve, because there's so many things. So you got people, places, and things. Okay, I'm going to stay away from the first 2, but some places you probably don't need to go anymore, and some people who need to be up out of your life very quickly. Unfortunately, some of them do have your last name, and you work that how you need to. So, question. When we talk about getting rid of what would no longer work, what no longer is needed, I do have a question, and I'm going to travel this road. Keith, protect me about where I'm about to go with this. Is there anyone in the room who still has clothes in their closet with the tags in it? Over 6 months, been worn. Okay. We're going to go there. You got my back, right? Okay. So, ladies, I must ask a question, because this is probably more pertinent to you than the fellas in the room. Now, there are some fellas who have a lot of things, but just an experience. I've seen it. Maybe it tilts more in another direction. So, ladies, do I have your permission to go where no man has gone before and ask about one of your favorite rooms in the closet? Favorite rooms in your house. Which is where? The closet. Okay. See, purging is a mental exercise. You all are already turned up, already too much. Keith, I'm going to need reinforcements sooner than later. So the closet. It's time to purge, because that is a mental exercise, mindful changes. So take it back about 1.5 years. My mother was renovating her house, and I told her I would help. So we're going through, and I'm like, okay, let me go through there. I'm working in the bedroom, and I'm like, okay, let's go to the closet. How much time did I take off today? Okay, so I went in there, and I was flipping through, and I was like, all right, I'm just going to work in sections, because that's how you have to do this, right? You have to work in sections, and you have to set up modules and times and things to be able to deal with this. So I don't know what they're called. Those little jackets, they hang down like right above your waist. They're very short. I call them mini jackets. Is that what are they called? The little bitty jackets? Poleros. Boleros. Interesting. They got a name. Okay. So I'm going through the closet, because I agreed to help my mother out in this regards, and bear with me. So I'm going through, and I'm like, it's about 10. Okay. Wow. 37 of those. 37 of those. And 9 had the tags in them. So I'm like, okay. Again, I'm going to go where no man has gone before. My mother was out. She came back in. I was like, look, we need to talk. I laid them all out on the bed. I said, pick 15. And the rest of them got to go. Which, see, there it is. Like, how dare you do that? I know. I'm treading on very thin ice with this. I understand, and I'm sorry, but it had to be done. It was too crucial in there. However, after seeing that, and she agreed. I think she purged a few. I don't know if she actually followed through with it. But then I was just like, so these purses and shoes, and then that's when it got like, I was like, okay, Kool-Aid walk. Out of here, we're not going to do that. However, we know that there's some things in our lives that we need to get rid of. And sometimes it's going to be painful. But they got to go. Because in order for us to fulfill a healthy self-image, accept ourselves, and have these mindful changes, and for us to know that we are more than enough, we have to get rid of that which no longer serves us. Those two can't coexist. So, what do we have? We have a healthy self-image. The opinion you have of yourself is the only one that matters. 2, we must accept ourselves, forgive ourselves for all that we've done and what we haven't done and what we plan to not do in the future. And we must make mindful changes to be able to stimulate our mind and be able to show up as a new you. So, beautiful thing. The main thing I want you all to realize is that you must overcome that. You must overcome that fear of who you see in the mirror, because that is the most loving and most beautiful and the best human being on the planet. Because if you don't look in the mirror and think that you're the baddest, most beautiful, most everything of everything of everything, did I say everything? Can I say everything again? Then what are you doing? I mean, how would you acquiesce and say, you know what? That person is the best. I'm number 2. Do you see where we're going there? You see the mindset in that? What kind of sense does that make that you think that you're second, third, fourth, or anything less than the top person in your own life? Come on now, we have to do this at another level. And so, let's do this one more time. I am. All right, now let's go ahead and do this real quick. I need everyone to stand to their feet. I want everyone to stand to their feet as we close this out. Now, we know that we're more than enough. And we know that we have everything we need to do to be able to move forward in this life. So what I want to do now is I want to get a quick recital from you all to close out. Let's go ahead and do this. So I'm going to say, listen, and then you repeat. It's listen. Listen. All right, now this is what I want you to do. I want you to close your eyes, close your outer eye, and open up your inner eye. Take a deep breath in. Exhale out. Deep breath in. Exhale out. One more time. Deep breath in. Exhale out. In a soft, angelic voice, listen to the quiet voice within. Listen to the speechless souls waiting to be heard. Listen to the divine rooster waking you up every morning. Listen to the roars of thunder crowding out those voices of doubt. Listen to the ocean waves crashing into your to-do list, begging you to live in the moment. Listen to the beautiful paintings revealing snapshots of your best life. Listen to the master plan you co-authored with the divine. Listen to the spiritual alarm clock that wakes you up in the morning telling you it's time to do God's work. Listen to the small voice in your ear representing the I am. Listen to the raindrops falling on your head as a new idea emerges. Listen to the boldness of your free will to make empowered choices. Listen to the slow beats of your heart urging you to live with compassion and love. Listen to the moment when you realize you are not alone. Listen to the sound of your Father saying, "Well done, thy good and faithful servant." Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we come to you in this moment right here and right now, wanting to say thank you. Thank you for this moment. Thank you for our next breath. Thank you for the gift of life. Lord, we ask you to continue to move throughout this room and just give all the healing blessings to anyone who may be faced with a different level of struggle, all sorts of pains, and anything of that nature. Lord, for we know that you can do all things. And Lord, we know that you said that where two or more are gathered in your name, then you will be in the midst. Lord, we need you to move through here swiftly and effectively and giving everyone what their heart so desires. And Lord, that we know that once we submit and we commit to your word, we know that all great things are going to come to pass just as we have asked for them, plus more, because you have promised more to us. And Lord, as we depart from this place, I ask that you continue to bless all the cars, bless everyone who is in this room and their families, and extend it well beyond this country and this world, for we know that you can bring about everything we could ever want, need to be, do, or have. And at this moment, we just want to say thank you. Thank you and thank you. And we ask these things and many more in your heavenly name, calling it already done. Amen. And so it is.
Thank you for watching this message today. I'd like to invite you to join us in person here on campus at Unity of Houston for Sunday morning or Wednesday evening services. If you can't be with us here on our campus, you can still join us live on Facebook or on our website, unityhouston.org, Sunday mornings at 11 a.m. Central.